Yeah, welcome back to NC Continental Prime, and joining us is the Executive Director of Not Too Young to Lead initiative, Elvis Akpobi. He joins us live from Monrovia, the capital of Liberia. Now, Elvis, what are the initiatives of the Not Too Young to Lead initiative, and what was the motivation factor towards you starting this movement?
Okay, growing up in the slum of Igbo Street, back in Delta State, I noticed that as a young man, my habitat, there was very little to be inspired by, and I needed to mirror excellence to people in my habitat to tell them that we can still make change despite we're underprivileged. I I've always dreamt of a better society right from while I was a kid, and we brought one or two together, and then we started a Not Too Young to Lead initiative with the value proposition of inspiring and raising young people to become good leaders, why they play a role in the future they want for their country, even in their little spaces. And in the past 6 years, we've been able to amplify the muted voices of other young people to be on the table where critical decisions about their future are being made, because most of the problem we are faced with today is because our problems, people who don't know our problems, thereby gives us drugs that will not solve our problems. People always decide behind our back. You can't decide the future of the youth behind in his absence. So in the past 6 years, we mirrored excellence to young people, we raise young leaders, but and we'll do our community service projects like celebrating World Food Day, campaigning against social violence, such as human trafficking, drug abuse, and all that. So
now, Elvis, sorry to interrupt you, but you did say that your organization in the last 6 years has done quite laudable things. The year 2023 was a general election year, and we've not seen so many young Nigerians in elective positions. What do you think are some of the stumbling blocks that prevent young Nigerians from holding executive office? How can they cross that barrier?
Okay, back in Nigeria, we're faced with money-back policies or politics where you need to be very, very wealthy to, get involved in electoral processes. Electoral processes are when with a lot of it requires a lot of money, and young people today don't really have that money. You find out that it's mostly people who have the right surname, whose parents are either in one office or the other, that are really, really metamorphosed. This is not to say we don't have other young people who have, swam against the tide and rose into leadership positions. But still, we still have young people. Back in Delta State, our advocacy has vetted a young deputy speaker in the last administration. Presently, our advocacy vetted a young House of Rep member representing Opa Federal Constituency, Honorable Nnamdi Ezeshi, and our advocacy. We are blessed with a governor who listens to young people, Right Honorable Sheriff Obor, who just inaugurated his ESCO that is overwhelmed with young people with character, capacity, and competence. So, as a group, we might not have it 100% immediately, but we are getting there. We've been able to bend the slides of what we want, and I think if we continue, if we stay consistent, we'll get it right.
Now, it's nice to see your group getting results of its advocacy. Now, finally, before I let you go, you're currently in Monrovia. Could you tell us about the last day of the conference, an event you're attending? What were the deliberations, and what's the final communique coming out of it?
Yeah, it's always inspiring being in Monrovia, Liberia, to attend the Young Political Leadership School Africa, a school that has been that was vetted through the initiative of an African who's thinking outside the box, Mr. Eddie Jawalo, who has in the last decade inspired moral ethics, grown young people across West Africa. In the YPLS school for course 10 this time around, saw representatives from Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Nigeria, Kenya. I started teaching us governance, sustaining democracy, tolerance, and other emotional intelligence on how to become good leaders we're privileged to network with most of our peers from different countries. While we were privileged to interact with most of the envoys from Sweden, United Kingdom, ECOWAS, and all that, who we discussed about the plagues we are faced with as young people across Africa and how to solve these challenges. As our state governor, who's in sync with developing young people, sponsored 10 young Deltans to this place. And after the closing today, I spoke with a lot of them, and they were very, very happy that they are going back home as better leaders. They are going back home to add value to the society. I want to urge every state governor to take a leap from Right Honorable Sheriff Abororwa, the governor of Delta State, who is running an inclusive government for young people and who is building platforms for young people.
Thank you very much, Elvis Akpobi, Executive Director, Not Too Young to Lead Initiative. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.